Hello, everyone. My name is Shawn Bradford, and welcome to the Photography and Creativity Workshop. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. In 2010 to 2013, I worked for Towson Video Services with the women's basketball team and the football team, filming practices and games. In 2014, I met my wife, and she let me borrow her grandmother's camera when she saw my love for cameras and photography. In 2016, I moved to Baltimore City to get acclimated with the alt culture. And I met a neighbor, E. Robinson, who was a professional photographer. And she also became my mentor. I shadowed her doing gigs for artists, professional portraits for large tech companies, and we did food photography in the Baltimore area. By 2017, I started taking enough photos where people began asking me to do engagement photos. Then I progressed to doing some artist shoots. Then I progressed to doing some action photography and sports photography. I also did some behind the scenes shots for a movie called Mac, and that one of the pictures actually made the cover, and it's involved with Sundance. I've also sold some large frame prints for home decor to some large companies, and just for for people that like my photography. However, my latest niche has been landscape photography, which I feel allows me to be most creative with editing. Programs to use for editing. I use Adobe Photoshop. I use Adobe Lightroom, Light Leap, Motion Leap, and Photoshop Express, which you all will be downloading today and using. What to look for? You want to change your perspective of the subject or the object. They say the human eye sees at about 50 mm. So what I mean by 50 mm, if you look at a lens, you're seeing little measurements, almost looks like a ruler. So you have some lenses that traditional lenses probably 15 to about 50 mm. You have some telephoto lenses that are 150 to 600 mm. And I have another lens that is 670 mm to 300 mm. Anything over 300 mm is classified as a telephoto lens. So this allows you to zoom in and zoom out. That especially helps you reach into the action when you are shooting sports photography. Get to a different vantage point. When you're shooting a subject, you might want to get over top of the subject to shoot down, straight down, or you might want to get underneath the subject to shoot straight up. Just changing the vantage point, trying to show people something different that they may have not seen before. Look for shadows, look for shapes, look for lines, look for patterns, look for symmetry, and look for light. Look how light touches different surfaces, and try to see if you can capture that. Use the frame technique. The frame technique is going like this, using your two fingers to make two L's and caption a frame. Okay, so you want to walk down the street and just look at what you can fit into a frame. People might look at you funny, but hey, that's okay. I'm looking here right now to the side of me. I have a phone and I have a light, so I'm seeing how I can try to capture the top half of that phone and that light in the same frame. Okay, so that's just composing the photo, and which leads me into my next bullet point: composition. Looking for several colors in that area and see how you can fit them all into your frame or into your photo. Being creative. Okay, so this doesn't look very creative. This is just a moon shot. Shot this on a roof. But in order to shoot this, I had to put this on a tripod because if I didn't put this on a tripod, my image would be blurry and it also wouldn't capture enough light. So I did this by remote. I put this on a tripod and I shot up at the moon, and I had a 10-second release on the exposure. So that release allowed the lens to capture enough light to actually, see the light of the moon and capture that in as much detail as possible. Okay, so what did I convert this into? I converted this into these, had these fireworks. I inserted these fireworks, and then I inserted some smoke here. It kind of has to get like that trail effect. And then also I inserted some sparkles. So you have some of the fireworks that kind of end here, and then I added the sparkles and the smoke to give the picture more frame and more body. Okay. And then here are my edits here. I increased the clarity. That clarity gave you more definition of that moon. The contrast also gives you a little bit more definition. I bumped up the vibrance. It kind of, if you look at the moon, gives has a little color to it. You know, I kind of wanted to blend with the fireworks as much as possible. So I bumped up that vibrance. I inserted the fireworks, as I said earlier, inserted the gold sparkles filling body, and I cropped the photo to make the moon larger and more central. Okay, now here we have a barn. I took this up at Hartford Glen in Bel Air, Maryland. And then I converted it to this. So I kept the barn red, and then I made everything else gray. Okay, and you're probably wondering, well, how'd you do that, Shawn? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to show you. So let me go ahead and get out of this real quick. Go to Photoshop. Okay, so here you have your barn. This is the original photo. I'm going to go over here to the object selection tool. Okay, and I'm just going to select this barn, and don't worry about getting too tight in on the bar, on the object you're selecting, because the selection will constrict and wrap around whatever object you are looking at or selecting. So I'm going to do that. We'll go up to the top, select. I'm going to inverse the photo. So now you see this running, almost like running dotted lines going around the entire border of the photo. It's also still going around your subject. Now I'm going to go to image, adjustments, black and white. So now you see how that is converted. I still have my image, my subject is red, and the rest of my photo is now black and white. And if I wanted to, myself out the way. If I wanted to play with how I want the black and white to look, let me decrease the reds. See how they gave more definition? Let me decrease the yellows. It does the same. That, to me, that's a little too dark. I don't want to go that dark. So I want to come up a little bit more, make it look as natural as possible. Let me decrease the greens. And see what that did there? This kind of like gave me, that green tree just kind of gave me a little bit more contrast there. So I'm going to keep it there. Hit OK. Make sure you're not done yet. You got to go back to select and deselect. And there you go. You have a creative photo. Okay, I'm gonna go back to our presentation. And it just shows you the edits that I just demonstrated for you right there. Changing your perspective. Okay, now this is Black Dragon Canyon, Utah. Yes, that is a real place, if anybody was wondering. So I have this at a wide view. Go ahead and get this out of the way. I have this as a wide view. So this is a different perspective. So I want you to change the perspective of this photo because it's not as interesting to me. So this is what I did. I converted it. I actually zoomed in on this. Let me go back to the initial slide. So see this right here? This is what I zoomed in on. Okay. And then let's look at it up close and personal. So this almost looks like a face to me. It kind of reminded me of like those faces that come out of like the pyramids in Egypt. And then you have stepping stones. That's also what I saw. You see these stepping stones here? I saw these layers. I bumped up the vibrance on this. So the rock is almost has like a red coming out of the rock now. And when I decrease the highlights, that gives you more definition. I bumped up the clarity. That gives you definition. Look at all the detail in the rock now. You can see like some black, some red. You can see the crevices in the rock. It's kind of like popping out at you now. I also changed the sky to this. So the sky kind of gave me that composition that I want to see. You know, I had the blue sky, I have the white clouds, and I have like this red rock popping out at you. Okay, and here's my edits. Increase the clarity, contrast, vibrance, decrease the highlights, change the sky. Okay, here, this is a building. This is a picture I took in Philadelphia of a building. I saw that, I like the architecture of this. Like, I look at the symmetry in these, look at these windows and like these shapes and lines. Okay, so what did I do with this? I turned it, I rotated it. I wanted to make it more interesting. Okay, so Now this kind of reminded me of like that movie Inception, or like or Doctor Strange, like when they had those buildings going vertical. I kind of wanted to like give that effect with this picture. Okay, but again, look at the symmetry, look at the patterns, look at the lines, look at the shapes. Okay, what did I do with this? I converted it to black and white. I increased the clarity, the contrast and highlights, and I rotated the photo 90 degrees. Composition. Sorry. Okay, so what I did here, I ended up taking this photo in Loch Raven Reservoir. So I composed this photo. Okay, look at the borders of this photo. There's something almost touching every border of this. You have I see a tree, you see leaves here, you have leaves over here, you see cloud and sky. Okay, look at all the colors in here. You got brown. I see light brown. I see dark brown. I see yellow. I see some green, blue, white, orange. I see like a little hue of blue coming off the water. So this is composing. Okay, and here I was basically almost on my stomach and shooting down. I was shooting up, and I held this branch of leaves to shoot up at the sky and get that sun as well. So this is, sometimes everybody doesn't know what goes into the photo, but this is you composing it and trying to get it to look like the way you envision it in your head. Okay. This is another composed photo. I took this in Ellicott City. So here I can almost trace the line for you of what I saw. So I saw this opening through the bridge, and then look at my mouse. I want to trace this for you. Saw this shape all the way over, and then coming straight into the camera, that line right there. And see how like the brick is in the foreground. Okay, and this brick is really highlighted, that the light was hitting this brick pretty strong. And then the shadows go under the bridge. You got shadows on the water. And then you got some more light coming out through the other side of the bridge. Okay. Here's some tips. It's better to overexpose your pictures than underexpose. What do I mean by that? An overexposed photo is going to have less definition when you're looking at it on your 3x4 inch screen. However, it allows more room for correction when you're editing the photo. It's much easier to decrease the exposure while editing and get a great final product than going from too dark and trying to lighten up the photo. There's going to be a lot of distortion when you're doing that. There's going to be a lot of graininess in the photo. We call this noise. Okay, now if you're shooting in manual setting, I always say start your camera at 1/250. That's your shutter, and then you want a low f-stop. So your f-stop's going to be 1.4 to 5.6 or whatever your lens allows you to do. You should even have that manual setting in your phones. And this allows you to capture that motion. That shutter being that fast, that 1/250, that's going to allow you to capture the motion. So if something moves quickly, you're going to be able to freeze that motion. Okay, now if that shutter was at about 160, like that if that subject moves, it's going to blur. So you want to make sure the shutter's fast enough to capture motion. Okay, and you want the f-stop to be low enough so you're getting enough light. If that f-stop was like 9, like f9 or f11, it's probably going to be dark, but it's all dependent upon how much light you're getting outside. You might want to stay this low on a cloudy day. You might want to be that high on a very bright and sunny day. Now make your photo pop, bump up your vibrance, but make sure the photo still looks as natural as possible and it's not overdone. Reduce your highlights and dehaze the photo. This is probably my favorite setting in Photoshop Express, is dehazing. There's a lot of photos I was like, oh man, this is way too overexposed and there's just too much light all over the place. So I dehazed it, and I saw things in the photo that I could not see initially. Okay, so it's just that dehazing, it gets rid of some of that noise that the naked eye can't necessarily see. And fill the frame, compose the photo, and try to get as many colors in the photo as possible. You're the artist. Okay, now it's your turn. Use the mechanics you've learned and take a creative, composed photo in your current environment. Don't forget to change the perspective. Use Photoshop Express to make your picture pop, and make sure the photo looks as natural as possible. And this is one of my favorite quotes when it comes to art and being creative. There is no such thing as failed art. There is appealing art and there's practice. So let's go make art. Let's go practice.
Question, Shawn, what are you shooting with? What camera are you shooting with?
I am shooting with, what do I have? I have two cameras. I have a Rebel T3i, and that was my first camera I bought for myself. And the second camera I brought, oh my goodness, I have a Canon 70D. I got that off of.
I shoot with the Rebel.
Oh, sorry, Cedric, go ahead.
I shoot with my first camera was also a Rebel T7, and I shoot with I currently shoot with the Canon EOS R mirrorless.
Okay.
So when you was naming lenses, yeah, I'm very familiar with the lenses. I shoot with the 70 to 200 millimeter f2.8. I mean, I have probably $5,000 worth of lenses that I shoot with 8mm, so with the so I can blur my backgrounds and get my portrait setting. I shoot with the 85mm. I got the Sporty 40. I got a lot of lenses. I'm not a photography guy, like I'm a video guy. I can shoot. I can shoot, but I do a lot of videos. Are you familiar with videos too?
It's somewhat, not as much as I used to be. Like I said, I did video services back at Towson, and that was 2010, 2013. So I would definitely need a refresher. So Cedric, I'm gonna have to take your class when it comes to video.
And I was thinking the same thing about how familiar are you with Photoshop? Are you really, really good?
I'm not really good, but I know enough. I basically doing a lot of self-taught stuff. I looked at how people did some things on YouTube, and then
I'm YouTube University.
What'd you say?
I'm Mr. YouTube University.
Oh, you yeah, I'm gonna have to exchange some tags, man, so I can see some of your work.
No question. I have a question for you about your aperture.
Sure.
What is your settings for for your indoor aperture as opposed to your outdoor aperture?
I guess it just depends, Cedric. Like I said, I'm trying. Sometimes I'll go as low as possible to see what I'm getting. It depends on how much light's coming through the through the light. I mean, through the windows.
Lens.
Yeah, through the lens. If I'm doing studio photography, I'm doing that out of my basement, and I'm trying to, it's dark in there. I'm trying to capture the light and measure the light as much as possible, and get it as possible. But right now, I really don't know what exactly I would start at inside. Like I said, I usually start my camera at 1/250, and then as low as I can go with aperture. I think my lowest aperture lens is 2.4.
Now, what is your favorite lens to use to capture bokeh? Lens, your go-to for good bokeh?
My favorite one is my newest one. It's a 15x70, and that the f-stop is a 2.4. That's the lowest it goes. So that's my favorite. I can still reach a good distance, and it goes all the way down to 15, so I can get a really wide perspective or angle, for landscape photography instead of changing. And that's why I kind of wanted to get two cameras, and I have the straps where, if I'm doing like a wedding or I'm doing like an engagement shoot, I don't have to switch. I found I was missing things when I had to switch out the lenses. So I have the two cameras where I can just like grab which one I need at that point in time.
Got you. Now, if you had to pick three lenses, what I try to do is I try to get a kind of a feel of what the person is wanting. So I have a lot. I don't like taking everything out for a few reasons. One, things could break. Two, stolen. So I always try to get just a feeling of what the person is looking to do. If I can get a feeling with then I can try to grab the appropriate lenses for that event or whatever I'm doing.
Right.
What is your three go-to lenses that no matter what you got to have them with you?
The one my newest one, the 15 by 70. I always have. I don't always carry that big telephoto because that's so huge.
I live with that. That 70. That 70. I use the 70-200, and I have an extender. I don't know if you've have used an extender. So I have I also bought an extender. So when I got the 70-200, I was shooting from the sideline. I would watch people's videos on Instagram, and I would ask them, I said, what did you shoot with? Because I can't seem to get, unless I'm on the field or in the huddle, I can't get that close. And they told me, and I said, I had the 70-200. And they said, no, you need the extender. So that'll make it 140-400 millimeters.
Yeah.
So it'll double it. So that helped me out as far as, I do a lot of sports. My son plays football. So I do a lot of sports. I'll give you my IG. So you can check out some of my work and my photos and my videos. I use Adobe Premiere. I'm a Premiere junkie. So I edit back and forth from Premiere. Like that's where I live at. But the lenses I always take out with me are, I just started with the RF lenses. All my lenses are EF mount. But I bought the adapter. So when I bought the Canon EOS R, you had to buy the adapter in order to use your EF lenses. Because the EOS R is now Canon has a whole new series of lenses, which are RF mounts. So, but you can still use your old lenses if you buy the adapter. So you can imagine I have an adapter, then an extender, and then a 70-200. So it's like a freaking building coming off the camera. It's like a tower coming off the camera. Now, do you support tripod shooting, or you pretty? Cause I don't have a steady hand, and as like, it's real shit. Cause I try to get a stabilizer, or I'll build a rig or something like that to shoot with. What do you prefer to shoot with?
So if I'm doing sports and action photography, I have my monopod.
I have a monopod too, but I think mine is old because it's like it won't, even when I lock it out, it's still like it's sliding down. So I'm going to get another one.
So yeah, when I found this on Amazon, Cedric, I saw there was a tripod that a monopod comes out of it. So I was like, that's so handy, man. So I was like, if you want the tripod, especially like if you're on like a road trip, you don't want to carry like that. My regular monopod is heavy and it's huge. So like I like that converter of having the tripod, and if you need to just just take the monopod out of the tripod, that works for me perfectly. So look,
is it a link? Can you send me the link to that?
Yeah, I can. I'll look up.
Is it a liquid head tripod? Where it has the levels on it.
What is it?
You can a liquid head tripod where they have the little like the little capsules of water in it with the lines, so you can tell, like a leveler.
Yes, it does have that. Yeah, it has the.
It does have that.
Yep, it has a leveler.
I need that link.
And it also.
You remember how much it was?
I don't think it was that much. I mean, I'm pretty sure I didn't spend any more than $50 or $60 on it.
For the tripod with the monopod inside.
It also has the hook at the bottom to like weight the tripod, because like if you're out in the desert or something like that tripod might blow over. So like I use a bag on that hook to weight it down.
Oh man, yeah, you definitely got to send me the link to that.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm trying to get back into photography. It's not my niche. I love videos where I live at, but I'll use Lightroom Express. I'll use Lightroom Classic. I'll use all that stuff and touch up my photos, but not probably as much as you do. But I am trying to get back into photography. That was my original love. That's why I got into it. But the rig crazy. I'm probably in about 10 grand just on the video. Yeah,
man. It gets expensive, doesn't it?
Yeah, man. So from programs to lenses to cameras to bags and tripods and all that other stuff, like it's people don't understand, like it's very, very expensive. When you ask me, like I'm $75 an hour to edit any video. People don't understand, like anytime if I break a lens, I can pay for it. I love your information so that we can link up and do some things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. Yeah, like you said, like people, when you charge money, like you said, people don't understand how much you're almost investing in yourself, all the stuff that you need to do, to make that product look, they want the way, somebody would want to buy it, like, okay, I want to buy this. I was like, okay, I need the right, equipment to make this happen, and then the editing, I usually charge the most for the editing. Like you said, $75 an hour or something like that, because like that takes so much time if you need to, heal something in the photo or take something out of the photo or, just accentuate the photo. Like that takes a lot of time. And sometimes you're having maybe like, you might have 20 pictures that look the same and you're trying to pick out the right one. So you're going through all 20. You say, okay, now what's the best one? Like your eyes looking at this for so long, like your eyes start to like, okay, I need to take a break because you're looking at all these photos that are so similar, but you're trying to make sure you're cranking out the best product for your consumers.
Now, how about weddings? You shoot weddings too?
Small ones, because I was it's just me. So yeah, I've done 2 small weddings. It's probably like max like 20, 30 people there. So I'll do small ones, but I'll say if a big one, if I did a big one, I would have to. I've been asked to do it, but I wasn't really comfortable doing it. And I didn't have a second shooter, so you're going to need at least a second shooter. And then like I asked the second shooter, it was too like it wasn't enough money. It wasn't worth it because the pressure put on wedding photographers is immense. And
what do you do about lighting? How about lighting? You travel with lighting? You bring your own lighting?
I have
on top of the camera.
Yeah, I have a soft box, a remote soft box. So yeah, when I take the engagement photos or something like that, or the wedding photos, I'll have the bride and the groom. I have my soft box kind of just like remote and capturing some more light, to capture them and get as much light as possible. Make the lighting more soft when it's hitting their face.
Got you. All right, Shawn. Like very educational, man. I was watching your your stuff on Photoshop that you was doing. Because I was going to ask, were you going to put a mask around the house? Because that's my hardest thing. Was creating masks and trying to trace. It's just a headache because you can't really get it. I was hoping they make a button where you could just press the button and surround the subject that you want to surround and do whatever you want to do with the background. But it's the tracing. It's the tracing that creating that mask that gives me a headache, and that's why I think kind of deterred me from Photoshop because once you get rid of the background, you can still see a lot of stuff you missed, and you got to be real good with that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of time, and there's no pencil to outline. You're actually doing it with a mouse or your trackpad or something like that. It's a headache, bro. And hats off to you, man. If that's your thing.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely a headache. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, definitely.
So I actually did a picture, and
what you got, Sarah?
I'm going to share screen really
quick. Go ahead.
So you can see it, and you can criticize it to no end because that's exactly what I want.
Wow, look at that. Look at that pop of color, Sarah. Look at that green.
Yeah. I literally, I'm not kidding you. I put some effort in, but I was just sitting here the entire time, and this is what I'm looking at. So
wow, I love it.
Thank you.
They said look at you got brown, you got green, you got white, you got gray. I'm gonna see cream. I see yellow over there in the corner. I look at the lines. Look at the lines coming down the staircase.
Yeah.
And that's nice symmetry. I love the pop of color in like almost kind of like right there, and kind of like, and they also like that's like the rule of thirds as well. So like that picture, that tree is sitting. If you put like a grid over top of that, Sarah, like a crop grid, you'll see that intersects with that rule of thirds. So like that's perfect. I'm a big rule of thirds fan. That's a great photo. That's real estate photography worthy, fair.
Oh, come on.
I'm serious.
I don't know about that. But let me tell you, I taught visual art for a long time. So I understand the rule of thirds when drawing something. So that is something I could apply here. And, I'm happy that this is well received because I really didn't get off the couch for this. But
that's okay. That is nice. Anybody else got something to share?
I'm gonna take my phone
Or
off.
Bailey?
Stop sharing really quick here.
Yeah, I was actually on Photoshop Express just now,
Okay.
messing around. I don't know. Actually, give me a second. I think I have to send it to my email before I can screen share it.
Yeah. Take your time.
Okay, I'm gonna make also Bailey a co-host so he can share as well.
Okay.
For any instructors that are seeing this, it's such a valuable tool to learn, how to edit photos. And
Yes.
especially with all of the business and entrepreneurship classes that we're trying to promote right now, it's really essential that people know how to take pictures of their product. They know how to think about, just think about lighting and ways that they can get their work, to stand out in a sea of
Absolutely. Yeah.
marketing on the internet.
Yeah, like you said, in the sea to distinguish yourself.
Right.
Like the name of my photography business is New Levels Photography. So I wanted to try to show people something new. There's still things that to be seen. Everything has not been done yet. So just trying to not be stuck in a box and show people different things.
Stemming off of what you just said, are you able to share what you've been most proud of so far in your?
What do you want me to show it visually, or you want me to just talk about it off the top of my head?
If you have it on hand, awesome. If not, you can talk about it.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk about it because I don't have it on hand on this particular computer. So I'm most proud of. I love when people buy my photos, like the big ones, and they want to, put it in their homes. I want to put it right there as soon as I walk in the door. Like I've told, people have told me that makes me so happy that of all the photographers out there, they're like, okay, unsolicited people come to me like, hey, I want to, take this. I want your photo in my house. Like, how much is it going to cost? And like that to me, that makes me so happy because like it's it's going to a home and it's going to last.
Right.
Sometimes when people take you do wedding photos and things like that, it's just usually on a file on your computer and you might forget about it. Even if you did, it's like, okay. But like if you are coming home every day and you see that photo in your house, like it kind of is like, okay, like that photo is doing something for me. It's bringing me a peace of mind or something to look at or stare at. So
right.
That's one of my proudest things. And I'd say second, I mean, it was crazy getting the cover of that movie Mac in Sundance. Like when the guy was like, Shawn, we love these photos. Do you mind if we make you an IMDb page and we put this as your as the cover of a photo? I'm like, I was like, my mind, nah, I don't want you to do that. Of course I did. That it's just, this is incredible. That's something I wasn't even expecting. I kind of just stumbled into that, but that was incredible as well. That's the two things I can come up with the top of my head. And I kind of want to get into doing more of this, teaching people, especially young people, how to, take photos and edit, just to, have a hobby, something you're interested in and instead of, other things, so I definitely want to teach this more and make this more regular going forward.
That's so amazing. Yeah. And I think it's really important to have a creative outlet, which is something our organization always promotes. And I really appreciate you sharing that. As far as what you mentioned about people wanting these artworks in their home,
yeah.
Typically, what types of imagery do they want in a home? I'm very curious about that.
It's usually, let me see here. It's usually landscaping. I sold a lot of not a lot, but like a few photos from my Utah trip. It was like, I sold a picture of Arches National Park. And it was, and it also had and one of them had like a body of water in it. Like it was like two mountains or hills, and there was like a body of water going straight through the center of it. And this the girl that bought it from me, she said like, when I see this, she's like, I have anxiety. So she's like, this when I see this, it calms me down. So for her to say like this thing, one of your pictures, like I saw it and I wanted it right away. Like it calmed her down, and if it helps with mental health, oh my God, like I mean, I I got the cure, everybody. Okay, I got the cure. It's like if that can help anybody in any way look at photography in a different way and brings them some peace of mind, that's very humbling for me.
That's beautiful, and
Yeah.
our art definitely has a way of doing that,
Mhm.
providing mental health, and the landscapes in particular, people are very drawn to. Even from a visual art standpoint, I can definitely see that there is a lot of attraction to it.
Yeah.
Something about transporting your mind into a space.
Yes.
There's one piece in particular that I'm thinking about from you, and it's this lightning piece that
Mhm.
I have of yours.
Yes.
I truly want to know, did you edit that to have the lightning, or did you actually catch lightning?
Actually edited that. I was like, you know how I edited that.
You had no idea at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I edited that, but that's the thing. Like, because I have friends ask me like, Shawn, did you really capture that? Did you really capture that? And like a rule of things is, so usually I don't tell people, like, I say, hey, like this is what I've created. It's art. Like I say, if whether I saw it or not, doesn't matter. But I was like, this is the final product. As I was saying, composing the photo and how I'm trying to do things. But yeah, I had to insert the lightning, insert the sky, and I blended the sky and the landscape together. So like when there's little, what is it?
But you would never know, and
Yeah.
that's what makes it so artistic. Is like it has this, it's not surreal, because that very well could have happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah, at the same time, it's just wildly believable, and yeah, it's just it's beautiful. So I have to ask, and I guess it's just a testament to your editing, and that's a very, very attractive skill to have, especially right now.
Yes.
With NFTs going on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So really great information. Bailey, I don't know if you have your picture on hand, if you want.
Yeah, it's ready.
Ooh.
Oh wow. Wow, Bailey. That's incredible.
Thanks.
That's incredible, man. Wow. Look at the first thing I saw was the colors. The colors popped out to me initially. Like that's almost like a gradient.
Nice.
Yeah, that's look at the gradients. Like you have like a red. I see some the yellow, see some green, and then it like translates to the blue. And then you have like the monkey in the foreground. Wow, where did you take this at?
This was in Malaysia.
Wow.
We were at a beach and monkeys were just chilling on the railing. So
that is incredible.
Wasn't in Baltimore?
This was not in Baltimore.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I was just messing with it, and like the original photo, like it's very, very white. Like, it's just like very bright and very white, and like not a lot going on. And then the monkey's very dark.
Okay.
In the original photo, and so like I was trying to make the monkey a bit lighter to like make it like have a little more detail, and then I just like threw an overlay on, and it looked really good, especially with like the blue where the beach is. Like I didn't mess with it at all. I just like clicked on a button and then it showed up, and I was like, wow, that's really cool.
That's incredible. So, even like look at the water even kind of like blends with the sky. You see how like that that line is very faint at the back where the ocean meets the sky. That's well blended, man. That's beautiful.
Thanks.
Beautiful. Now, are you a photographer, Bailey?
No.
Okay, well, I mean, that's
yeah. Well, it was just like I just had my phone with me in Malaysia, and like I've got a decent camera on it, so it's just like I took thousands of pictures probably while I was there, just because like that was part of the experience, and like especially like with students, like they just loved playing around with an iPhone camera. So
man, that is really good. I'm even looking at the sky. I don't know. I mean, it almost looks like stars, but it might be the
I think it's the overlay.
The overlay. I was like, yeah, it's probably the overlay, but that's clean. That is very clean.
I have a suggestion. You know how you have this red stripe at the bottom?
Yeah.
I'm thinking you should do one of purple at the top.
Okay. I don't know how to do that, but I'll give it a go.
I just think that would make a full rainbow, and that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That is really cool.
But yeah,
It's good detail too, man. It's just a really well taken photo.
Thank you.
Cedric, you got anything you want to share?
He is currently at a site, so that
Okay.
that could be a reason as to why he might not be answering. But yeah, I think you know, as far as Photoshop, I like using that app. I know I've used Visco in the past. Are there other applications that you recommend? I know that there's just so many out there.
For visual arts, because I've been doing like collages lately too. Try Bazart, BAZAART.
Bazart.
Bazart, whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah. So what that does, you can basically take if you have a photo of yourself,
yes,
take yourself out of your photo and insert it into like an amazing stock photo. So remember, I don't know if you saw like the one I have I have like this triangle of me. I'm inside this triangle and I'm out of space. I have the planets around me and I'm looking into like this vortex and it's an eye.
Yeah.
I made this so the sky was just like Milky Way, and I put the eye inside of the center of the Milky Way.
Right.
Like like the eye of the sky. I added in the planets, but like that picture was me from the Grand Canyon. So like I took myself from that Grand Canyon picture and inserted myself and then added those other things around it. So like Bazart has a lot of great stock things you can add to your photos, and it helps you. It is another tool to use to enhance your photos.
That's so amazing. I know that what's been very trendy over the last several years is selling your presets.
Yes.
Do you want to like elaborate on that a little bit? I guess like, why is it so attractive? If you, I don't know, I feel like there are so many filters out there. I don't know.
Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, I have some of my photos on Alamy, on stock, but like it's just another way to generate photography for if you want to do this full time, you're probably going to have multiple cash flows, because like it's tough to just be a full-time wedding photographer or a full-time sports photographer, things like that. There's going to be downtime. So like people are, okay, I'll sell my stocks to increase for I'll sell my presets for in stocks or whatever to Alamy or something like Bazart, and then people can use those to create their own art. So right. It's almost like also kind of, if you want to think of it this way, you're kind of helping the art community. Like, here, use my art to help your own art. So that I guess that's the way I see it. I haven't sold anything on Alamy yet. So I was like, when I do, I'll let you know. But that'll be that would be nice if I can get some Alamy income.
Yeah, and just getting like a behind the scenes on maybe how you're making the preset and how people can I like not give the whole thing away, but at least in a workshop give someone a sneak peek into what goes into making that. Or
so actually just making the preset, you would be on it's a matter of saving it, Sarah. Like you go to like Lightroom or Photoshop, right, and you save the preset. And it's actually fairly simple. You say the preset, and I just send it to Alamy. Like, they will touch it up to meet the dimensions that they want for it to fall into an application. And they might clear up the picture a little bit. Remember how I was talking about dehazing and
right,
and the highlights and everything? They just want that picture to be clean enough. But there have been pictures that I have submitted and they're like, there's too much noise in it. So like they're like, you need to get some of the noise out of there. So like they have a process they have on their end that if it doesn't meet their standards, they're not going to take it. So they have to approve it on their end as well. So like it's not like, oh, I'm just going to upload a bunch of pictures. Like, it's going to have to meet their
right
for them to keep it on their website.
Right.
Okay. And then for people to find them, you add you can just add unlimited hashtags.
Right.
People look for these things. Just like, you can just like, okay, if it's a sky or, and it has clouds and has mountains and things like that. I was like, okay, mountain photography, mountain, sky, cloud photography, sky photography, weather photography, weather. Like I'm adding a bunch of keywords so people can, you know, hopefully locate those pictures I'm uploading in the stock.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I think as far as like, you know, just building a visual aesthetic and a style, I know that a lot of people use filters consistently,
Mm-hmm.
like those pre-settings for
Yeah.
I think for everything that they make, so they have some sort of like artist signature.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is your artist signature thing?
Mine is if you looked at like the consistency of my edits, vibrance. I like color.
Vibrance. Okay.
I wanted to pop out at you. I really like sky. And I think my photography is kind of like loud. I want some kind of like light element in my photo. So there's always like a sun or like some kind of light flash. It's like when you first look at something, it's like when you're scrolling, I want it to capture your eye. I want that sun to kind of, you know, like be bright, like, oh, like it's gonna make you pause. You know, it's gonna make you pause, at least for momentarily. So like very not like vibrance, you know, high colors, high contrast, high clarity. Like those are my top ones, and then decreasing the highlights and dehazing to make it pop as much as possible. The filters like fade, I don't really like fade that much because I feel like fade kind of like it takes some of the clarity out of the photo, and it kind of puts like a film over it for me. So I was like, when I do it, I'm like, I was like, that's not, I don't like that as much. So that's just not my style. But I mean, but it's just, you know, there are some cool fade photos. It's just not my particular, you know, go-to style or signature style.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it's important to have that that I don't know, that look that it stays consistent and adds you know, I guess like a nice cohesive strain throughout
Yeah.
the body of work.
Yeah.
So vibrancy is something that is super eye-catching with kind of
Mm-hmm.
contrast.
Yes. Yes.
People's attention subconsciously is also like, you know, an amazing technique that photographers use, that you use, and I think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as tips for the future with like time of day, is there a particular time of day for shooting or like a kind of weather that photographers prefer to shoot with?
The golden hour.
The golden hour.
The golden hour. So it's sunset and, you know, and sunrise. Those are the best times because that's gonna be the most intimate light. Okay, like that light, you know, it's kind of like, it's kind of stunning. Like when people see like the hair, this is called the effect the hair on fire.
Yes.
So sun is in back of the subject, usually in back of the people. The hair is on fire, so that's called backlighting. So like that light is very intimate and stunning. So that's my favorite, and it also captures shadows. Because if I'm just out at 12 o'clock and the sun's at the top of the sky, there's not going to be anything really interesting. Everything's going to be pretty much even light. I want to see some like kind of like, I'm sorry,
drama.
Yeah, I want to see some drama. Yeah, I want something different. I want some shadows. I want, you know, some lines. You know, I want to see how like the shadows are hitting the, you know, either the side of a building or on the pavement. You know, so, or, you know, or hitting a subject, because I sometimes I'm walking over here by the pagoda at Patterson Park, and if I'm walking, like I might see the sun's hitting directly on the pagoda, and I'm like, okay, I need to take a picture of it, because it almost looks like the pagoda is on fire. So I was like, and you can see like almost like a trace of light kind of going through a path. So just seeing that kind of floating and, you know, that golden light shimmering off of an object or a pavement, that's what really is amazing to me and interesting.
Thank you for sharing that. I think it's a good thing to note. I also had a friend of mine that said cloudy weather.
Yeah, yes.
Weather is also another you know, thing to look out for.
I did a wedding in cloudy weather, and that was that was beautiful. It was actually, the couple walked out on the pier, or like and this was down by the Bay Bridge, and just seeing that, like that cloudy weather, like the light was so, like I said, intimate. and like I just like darkened the highlights and everything, and it was just like it's just them two in the world. Like that's like kind of like, you know, set a tone when I'm, you know, start editing. I'm like, okay, how do I want this to look like, or how do I want this to look? And I want them all to be consistent. You know, I was like, okay, this is the tone I'm setting for this particular shoot, and that was a very cloudy, intimate one. And I was like, it almost seemed like they were the only ones in the world at that time. They loved them.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And, you know, since we are at the last few minutes of the workshop, I want you to leave us with you know, an uplifting, inspiring message for the instructors and students that will be seeing this recording. What do you have to tell them?
Okay, I will say, don't be scared to fail. I've failed plenty of times. I've you know, been really mad at myself, but that's how you learn. Like you only learn by failing. Don't be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Okay, like it's okay to, and I mean that twofold. I mean by being uncomfortable, taking the photo from any vantage point, getting in the dirt, getting your knees dirty, or getting up high and, you know, maybe scratching the knee or something like that. But also in mindset wise, you know, be comfortable being uncomfortable. Like you're gonna, you know, go out and take a you know, a road trip by yourself if you can, or, you know, or take a walk on a day, you know, or take a path that you wouldn't necessarily take one day, and see what you're gonna find. Like I feel like the more experiences you have in life, the more your mind is gonna open, and the more you're gonna understand, the more understanding you're gonna have for life going forward. So, you know, if you have a camera in your hand or like a phone in your hand, just take pictures of things and try to make them more interesting. Believe in yourself. And, you know, you have to believe in yourself, and nobody else's, you know, people can believe in you, but believing in yourself is what's first and foremost. That's important. So believe in yourself, you know, and try. You know, don't be scared of not trying. You know, that Jay-Z has an amazing quote I love. He said, "I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of not trying." So like that's my thing. That is my thing. Just try it and see what happens. You know, try to reach your potential.
You didn't read that off of anything, right?
No, that was off the top of my head.
Thank you so much for being with LTYC today. Can't wait to share this. And thank you for spending some time teaching us about your amazing work.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks.
All right.